Hey Empire, welcome to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time here, make sure you like, share, subscribe. Today I'm going to be talking about can a foreigner buy a property here in Ghana? The short answer is yes. But if you're coming from the UK, Canada, US, or Australia, these are the things you need to understand before buying that property in Ghana. Buying a property is one thing, and making sure you have the legal right to use and own the property is another thing. And this is why I think most investors get it confused. Because when someone tells me this property is available, that is not enough for me. Before I recommend a property to a foreign investor, I really need to know what they are buying. How long does the interest last? What's the title? Who is the developer? I literally need to know all of this before I recommend a property to a foreign investor to buy specifically here in Ghana and also in Lagos. So this implies in Lagos too as well, don't get me wrong. But I literally need to know all of this before I recommend a property to a foreign investor to buy because I know how difficult it is to work so hard and just lose your money like that. Because you need to know what you're buying and you need to know what you're investing your money in before, and I know how difficult that shit could be. So I'm here to guide you on that part. I'll be giving you this example. A non-Ghanaian generally cannot hold a freehold interest when it comes to land. Instead, foreigners can acquire leasehold interest subject to Ghana's law. And the Ghanaian institution has placed a time that says that foreigners are allowed to own a property for 50 years on lease. So after your 50 years lease is expired, then you have to renew it. That doesn't mean you cannot invest in Ghana, but it simply means you need to understand what legal interest you're actually receiving when buying a property here in Ghana. Let me make that very simple. Imagine I show you a 5-bedroom fully detached right here in Accra. You like the finishing, you like the price, you like the house, you like the pool, you like the location, and you say, Daniel, I want to send the money. Before you send the money, I want to stop you. You're not buying a house because of how beautiful it is. You're buying a house because of what's behind the house, like the documentation, the return on investment, the profit you're gonna get, and if you want to resell the house, right? As an investor, when buying a property, these are the things you need to know. Who owns the land? Is the seller the rightful person that owns the property or leasing the property as well? What type of interest am I getting? Are there any existing mortgage or dispute or any restriction that's affecting the property? And as the transaction be properly documented and registered where required? These are the things you really need to know. You need to look out for when conducting your due diligence also. And this is why, especially if you're a foreign investor, I do not recommend you sending money to a developer or a realtor because they tell you this property is safe. That's not the proper way to conduct your due diligence. Your lawyer job is to independently verify the property and the transaction. The realtor's job is to sell the property. Your lawyer's job is to protect your legal interest. Think about buying a car. If someone shows up and says this car is mine, you would want to verify the documents. You would want to check the VIN. You would even want to call mechanic to confirm if this car is good or not, to check the engine. Like that means you're conducting your due diligence. That simply implies on real estate. Real estate is even more serious because you're potentially putting hundreds of millions of dollars into one transaction. There's another thing foreigners need to understand. Buying a property in Ghana doesn't automatically make you a citizen. Because I got a DM last year, December, whereabout a client reached out to me and said, if I buy a property in Ghana, does that automatically mean that I'm a Ghanaian citizen? No, it doesn't make you a Ghanaian citizen. Let's clear that. Property purchase and immigration status is a separate issue, and I think we'll be talking about that on our next video. So you guys stay tuned, and like I said before, if you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe to Josh Channel's Empire, like, share, comment, and also tell me what you think about your thought because I'm literally open to hear your own opinion. So let me hear what you have to say in regards of what I just said now on this video. If you haven't watched our previous video, what's 1.5 million USD to get you in cantonment, please kindly check our previous video. You'll see that, and you can also see what $600,000 can actually get in East Legon too. On our video, you can check that on our page. You'll see it yourself, and you tell me what you think about it. Drop your comments, share, subscribe, and tell me what you think about it on the comment section. So if you're buying because you want to invest, that's another conversation. And if you're buying because you want to relocate to Ghana, that is another conversation entirely. So yes, to answer your question, foreigner can buy a property in Ghana. I wouldn't suggest you just look for a beautiful house and pay for it. The things I would advise you to do when buying the property also. I would advise you to find the property, verify the ownership, understand the lease, use an independent lawyer, verify the documentation, and then you can move forward to the next thing, verify the document, all the necessary things that is needed. Do your due diligence. When buying a property here in Ghana, just to be on the safer side. Even when you're in Lagos, also you need to be sure of what you're spending or what you're investing your money into. Just to be on the safer side, because them say is not what we are looking out for. Right? Because the goal isn't just to buy any property. The goal is to make sure you're buying a property that gives you return on investment. So that means you need to go through the right processes to make sure you're on the safer side. Because I've heard stories of people who bought property in Ghana, and at the end of the day, nothing was given to them. And I even know a friend who bought an off-plan property, and at the end of the day, he didn't see the off-plan. He didn't even see the property, and he paid half 95% of his money. He stays in the US, but he's back in Ghana trying to sue he has sued the company. It's a long story actually, but I'm going to be talking to him later on. We'll talk, and he's going to share his experience about things he wish he knew before he bought the property and before he got scammed in Ghana. I'll be interviewing him later on. So I'll try to reach out to him, so I'll interview him. So he's going to be disclosing the things he wish he knew before he got scammed in Ghana. If you're a foreigner looking to buy a property in Lagos, Ghana, or Kenya, subscribe because I'll be bringing more on this channel. And we'll be talking about more properties on this channel. We'll be analyzing more on this channel. So make sure you like, share, subscribe. I still remain your Josiah Kibuzo. See you on the other side.